Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and today we're going to be exploring a fantasy land that's been lost to the ravages of time. This is Pandoria. In this game, each player is going to take on a fantasy race, say, elves or halflings or humans, and you are going to be exploring the land of Pandoria, making, laying down tiles and making areas, and then scoring those areas when you have completed them. There's also some card play, there's a few other things to manage, but let's just go ahead and take a look at how the game works. We'll come on back after that. I'll tell you what I think of it. To begin the game, each player is going to get one of these character boards here, so you could be the elves or the dwarves and so on. You are going to put that in front of you. Now, there is an A side and a B side. I'll show you the basic A side. On the B side, each character has a special ability, and the setup is slightly different. But for the A side, everybody gets their board. You're going to have one specific building you begin play built already, and then you have three other cards in hand. You have your trackers over here denoting how much wood, gold, and gems you've got. So you set those in place. You've got your playing pieces, and everything else is set up. These two tiles are randomly placed in these spots to begin the game, and then everybody gets one of these double-sided hex tiles, and you are good to go. So on your turn, you're going to follow this 5-step sequence that is listed on the player boards. I'm going to show you a close-up of that. And so the first thing you do is you can either add in your double-sided tile or one of your castles. When you do so, it has to go next to something that's already been built, like so. Sides don't have to match. That's your choice if you want to do that. Step number 2 is you can add one of your characters to the tile you just placed, to either side, normally to either side, or you can remove one of your own from somewhere on the board back to your supply. This large one, which counts as 2 of the smaller characters, can only be your last one out. So you have to have run out of the other ones to place this one out there. Next up, step 3, you can play you can do one of 3 things. You can play a card for the top spell power, paying normally gems to do so. You can play the bottom of a card, which is building a building into your display here. You have room for 5 of them, paying that much wood, and then it sticks around and gives you some sort of special ability. Or you can build one of the monuments down there, okay, and those are going to go over a building. You'll get a discount on the 8 wood it normally costs based on this building you're building over, and it's going to give you some victory points. They start at 6 victory points, and then they go all the way down to 3 near the bottom of the stack. All right, step number 4. If you enclosed an area, you are going to trigger a scoring, and then if you did so, you are allowed to buy a card. If you triggered scoring, you may buy one of those cards for gold. Gold is listed in the center of the card there. And then step 5, if you used your double tile, you draw a new one. If you deployed one of your castles, of course, you kept this, so you don't need to draw a new one, all right? So, the meat of the game is this scoring idea, so let's go ahead and dive into that a little bit. So I've jumped the game forward a few rounds. It is now the blue player's turn, and they have this tile in hand, so they're going to go ahead and play that and trigger a scoring, okay? So here's how this works. First thing you do, step 1, like I said, is you play one of these into the game, but during step 1, if something is surrounded, meaning it's completed, okay, like the gold tiles here, which can no longer be expanded, anybody standing in that area gets bounced back to their respective player. And then step 2 is somebody can deploy, that player can deploy one of their tokens. Now, when you put a character into play, it cannot go into an area that's already completed. And so if the tile you placed, one of the halves or both of the halves are already in areas that at that moment are completed, you can play in there. This is not a problem right now. These can both still grow. And so we're going to do that, and then that player gets a chance to play a card and so forth. Then we trigger scoring. So scoring is going to be for the area or areas that got enclosed for the characters that are adjacent to that area. In this case, blue has a single character. There are 3 coin symbols in there. 3 scores, 3 coins on their player board. Red's going to get 3. Yellow is going to get 6. And as you can see, the player boards here they maxed out at 10. However, if you push something past 10, or you would push it past 10, for every 3 spots you cannot take, you're going to make a victory point instead. All right? And then after scoring, these pieces stay out there. If they get enclosed themselves, they'll bounce back. Or, maybe they'll continue scoring other things around them if those things get completed. So that's how the scoring in the game works. Of course, all of that being modified by buildings and so forth. So for example, this building here, if I had built that building for 6 wood, it's a store. It lets me know that anytime I go above 10 in any of the 3 things I keep track of, I'm going to get a victory point. So if I go above 10, boom, automatic victory point. And then for every 3 I went above, I might also make some victory points that way. And there's all sorts of things like that, like this building here. For every spell I play, I get a discount of 1 gem on that spell. I pay 1 less. This one over here says that if I run out of something and I need to continue paying for that, I may pay with something else at an exchange rate of 2 to 1. So, I need 3 wood, I only have 2, fine, I'll pay that 2 wood and then 2 coins, let's say. And so forth. And then the spells, of course, do different things as well. So the board is going to continue to develop. You'll build up buildings. You put those tokens on it. The monuments get a whole bunch of points. You'll hopefully score large areas, but you'll do so at an opportunistic time so that your opponents don't also score it. And then finally, the game is going to run out of these tokens, these double-sided tokens, and you'll score at the end of the game a couple of small things. Most of your victory points will have been made by then, but you're going to score for every card you're still holding, 1 victory point, and then for every 3 of something you've got, you'll score 1 victory point as well. So let's say my board looks like that at the end of the game. I'm going to get 1 point there. No, wait, let's say it's like this. I'm going to get 1 point for 3 wood, 1 point for 3 coins, and this is at 7, but I only score it twice. The leftover 1 won't matter. So 3 and 3 gets me 2 more points, and then if I had 3 cards, that's 3 more points. I add that to my running total, and that's my score. And if I have the most, then I am the winner of the game. That's pretty much all there is to it. As I said, the other side of these boards are going to have a special ability, like this one, for example, the wizards. Their power is, I can always choose to buy a spell, even if I did not trigger a scoring. And things like that. Like the dwarves let you hold 2 tokens in your hand, so you'll always have 2 of these in hand to pick from. Different sort of variable powers like that, variable player powers. So there you go. That's the general flow of the game. Hopefully that makes enough sense that you understand what is going on. The scoring can certainly be a little bit tricky, and there are a couple of things I am glossing over with features on the board here. But let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it, and then you'll have a full picture, or at least slightly fuller one. So there it is, Pandoria. Let's go ahead and break this down a little bit. I'll start with the things I thought were just okay. We'll end strong with the things I really enjoyed. And there are plenty of things in this game that I really enjoyed. It's a fantastic game. So, the theme. It's just alright. Another generic fantasy theme right down the middle. Humans, elves, dwarves, all of that stuff. Nothing particularly exciting, though I do like what it is you are doing with those races in this game, which is exploring the land. That's nice. It's not, going into a cave and fighting a goblin or something. It's always sort of the same thing. So I like it, but the setting is still not necessarily exciting to me. And then the game length. The game does have, if you play with 2, there's no issue whatsoever. I really like it at 2, in fact. With more than that, you're going to have a little bit more downtime. You're going to have a little bit of a longer game session. So, yeah, maybe if you are someone that wants a really tight, short package, this might outstay its welcome a little bit, and you might have a little bit of downtime. Other than that, I really like everything else. The aesthetics, I think, are good. Iconography is strong. The artwork is good. It's not, amazing, and nothing quite matches the cover here, which is fantastic. The rest of the game looks pretty good, but the iconography, everything is very clean. That's what I like about it, so it helps getting into it with all of those things being so clean and well thought out. The replayability, very high for this game. You have unique powers if you play with the B-sides. You got all the cards out there that are going to change up what you do in the game. The board will develop differently. You'll draw the tiles at a different rate. You will definitely enjoy your play sessions, and there's a lot of sort of little things you'll learn as you are playing over multiple games. So even that is going to be really fun. Not to say that you'll feel lost the first time, but you will enjoy new things from session to session. Ease of play. Game was definitely tricky at first, especially for someone coming from a Carcassonne mentality, which is you put your little guy out there and you score when the thing's finished where you are standing. This game turns that on its head because you score an area by being next to it. And in fact, if you are in that area when it closes, you get booted out. So there is this interesting cat and mouse thing where if you put yourself somewhere that I think I can both close something up and boot you at the same time, I'm going to try to do that. So I really enjoyed that. The ease of play is well done, but it is tricky at first. And then lastly, tactics and strategy. My goodness, yes. Lots to think about here. Lots of different tactics and really long-term plans, strategies you can go for. You can try to go for big areas that no one else hopefully will be able to score. You can do that. You can go for the buildings. You can go for those monuments. You can try to just keep maxing out your tracks and busting past 10 to score victory points. And some of the buildings are going to give you better bonuses for that, right? You get, like I showed you, +1 point every time you bust 10. There's even buildings that say every time you go above 10 for wood, let's say, instead of 3 wood to 1 point, it's 2 wood to 1 point. Boom, that's a strategy. I'll just try to do that. So lots going on. I really was fascinated by it. Overall, very strong game. Truly surprised me. It's the kind of Euro game I really enjoy. It's straightforward. There's cleverness here. There are tactics and strategy here. Just a solid package overall. This one's going to get a seal of excellence from me. I would definitely recommend you check this one out. Pandoria is a real fun Euro game, folks. So there it is. That's it for me. I'm Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com.